Hello everybody, this is Katie. Welcome back, all my amazing, beautiful, sassy ladies. Now, before I get started into today's video, please check out my webinar presentation on the 3 secrets that will get high quality men to chase you, pursue you, and go all in on a relationship with you. In that webinar presentation, it is 50 minutes of me sharing my best tools and concepts in how to really have a quality man chase you and get into that high quality relationship, that dream relationship that you really want. You won't want to miss that. Simply go to katiecoach.com/webinar and really apply the concepts that I teach you in that webinar because it is quite amazing, okay? So in my last video, I talked about how most of us awesome, amazing ladies tend to choose power over fear in that moment with a man. Okay, this is a conscious choice. I want you to start practicing making a conscious choice, but a lot of us are defaulting to power because power feels better in that moment. In today's video, I want to talk about how fear, if we don't confront that and face that and push through our fear, will actually just kind of hang around in the background, right? Hang around in the background of our life, just kind of there, but we're like, oh, let's just push that away. Push that away. I don't want to face it. I don't want to look at it. I don't even want to acknowledge it's there, right? A lot of us are doing that instead of confronting it to get to the love that we want. Okay, and here's how you know this is happening to you. When you think about a man, a particular man, or you think about getting the love you want or getting a man you want, instead of really looking at what is stopping you from really making that connection or doing the things you need to do, you're kind of sitting on the fence, right? And this is the most, I feel like the most toxic position to be in, when you're kind of like, I'm just kind of cruising. I don't really want to make a decision. You know, you're sitting on the fence and you're saying, yeah, I love him, or I want that relationship. I want that man, but I'm kind of comfortable here. I don't have to go out and risk anything. Or you say, yeah, I'm afraid. But you kind of say it like, yeah, that's a good reason not to do anything, right? You kind of get yourself off the hook by saying, well, I'm afraid. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to put myself through that. I don't think I'll handle it. The list of a million excuses kind of scrolls up, you know. I'm sure if you really sat down and thought about it, or if you were talking with a girlfriend, you'd have so many, you'd be able to rattle off lots of reasons why you're not doing it. You know, justify the choice to just sit back, sit on the fence, and just really quietly allow fear to just hang in the background there somewhere. Oh, it's in the background there, you know, it's hidden under a pile of rubbish, so I can't really see it, so I don't need to face it, right? And unfortunately, this is what a lot of us do, right? We are kind of like, oh, I'm okay. We tell ourselves, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm independent, I got my life together, yeah, right? We give ourselves that pep talk. Meanwhile, fear's hanging around in the background there that we ignoring, don't want to look at, don't want to face. And we are distracting ourselves with a million other things like TV, friends, work, gym, you know, so many things to distract ourselves with, social media, Instagram, lots of things to distract ourselves. So as long as we're busy, keep our mind busy, and we appear like we're all happy to everybody, yeah, we're good. But who are you really fooling? Okay, who are you really fooling? Who are you really cheating out of the amazing life that you want? Right? You're really cheating yourself. You know it's in the background there. Like that fear is there. You just don't want to look at it. You don't want to face it. And yes, you want that man. You want that relationship. But you also want to be comfortable. Okay? Yeah. And then this is when people say, yeah, I want companionship. I want a man to, you know, to talk to about certain things. but I don't want really a relationship. I don't want to be living together. I don't want to have to share everything. You know, it's like, I want it, but then there's certain things I don't want to do, you know, and then she lists off all the things that is required to have a relationship. So there is that big conflict there of what, you know, someone wants and what they're are willing to do to get it, right? And that is a big sign that you're driven really by fear. Fear is subconsciously driving all your actions by you not facing it, avoiding it. Another big clue is when you say to yourself, I don't know, I'm not sure, you know. When you say, I just don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do, I'm not sure what decision to make. Okay, anytime you say that to yourself, you're, you know, big time driven subconsciously by fear, because you're fearful if you take a certain action, you're going to get hurt. You don't want to do that. You're too fearful to face that. So I'm just going to sit in the I don't know group, right? If it was like a Facebook group, you would join. There'd be a lot of people in that Facebook group of the I don't know crowd. Yeah, I want a relationship, but I don't know. You know, I don't know what I want to do there. Lots of people would be in there. And you just hang, right? Lots of people, you could hang there for years, half a lifetime, right? And then what? So what I'm trying to say is that we can stay comfortable, and a lot of us do. We try to stay comfortable for as long as we feel that it is serving us, until we get to a point where it's no longer serving us. And that's actually where I was, you know, many years ago. I didn't want to face fear. I don't want to face rejection. I didn't want to put myself out there because that was too terrifying for me to even look at. So I basically just turned into a hermit, just stayed at home, didn't want to face anything dangerous or scary or anything. And I stayed like that for years, right? In my little cubby hole, not seeing anybody, not really filming any relationships, telling myself I was fine because, you know, I had lots of things to distract myself with, until it got to the point where I realized I was actually miserable, right? I was actually miserable in that little hole of mine, and I was in more pain staying stuck there than if I had just gone out there and tried a bunch of things. Like, I reached that point of, this is even more painful now, where every single day it started to become painful. And I'm so glad I got to that point, and got to that point pretty early in my life, that I understood or learned that lesson, that I would never want to be there. And that's why I pursue growth. Always I pursue growth, I pursue progress in any area of my life that's not growing, not changing. I immediately think back to that time early in my life where I was miserable because I had no growth in any area of my life. And I was like, okay, that was so miserable, I will never want to be there again. Okay, that's like permanently burnt into my memories as what I never ever want to be. That is why I always pursue the next uncomfortable thing. I pursue the fearful thing. You know, I pursue challenging myself, because that is still better than going back there to be comfortable. You know, be mindful that comfortable really is a slow poison drip. It will slowly, you know, edge away at your life, and you're gonna feel nothing, okay? You're basically going to walk around like a zombie, or temporarily feel good using, you know, drugs or TV or alcohol or, you know, superficial stuff to make yourself feel good. But you know deep down, if you even stop for a minute, that fear starts to bubble back up and take over again. Okay, do you really want to be run by fear? Or do you want to really take control of your life and actually face it and really get what you want and move forward, right? Really achieve what you want to achieve and get out of that rut, right? And stop lying to yourself that you're not in that rut, because you are. Okay, you are. I remember I was reading an article recently someone interviewed 1,500 elderly men and women, and I love reading these stories because I want to make sure I learn my lesson from people that have, you know, gone before me, because that's where I'm headed, right? I'm headed towards old age, so I want to be prepared. Like, what does the elderly have to say? What advice can they give me so I'm prepared, that I don't make mistakes that they have made, right? And a lot of them say the number one biggest thing they have is regret. Regret they didn't do certain things in their life. You know, they didn't try. They didn't ask that man out or speak to that guy or you pursue that relationship or pursue that career. That was the biggest thing, regret. Knowing that, I'm like, phew, because I'm glad I learned that lesson early, that I don't want to be comfortable, because now I do always think about that. I don't want to live with regret. I want to reach my old age and say, look in the mirror and say proudly to myself, I have tried everything I wanted to try. I've done it all. I've failed. I've succeeded. I felt pain. I felt joy. I felt everything I wanted to feel. And I allowed myself to feel those things. And I didn't allow fear to subconsciously run my life in the background and pretend I'm doing well when I'm really not, when I'm actually miserable, right? So that's what drives everything I do, and that's what drives my career decisions, my relationship decisions, because I always go into it with the honest truth to myself that, you know, I don't want to have regrets, and if this is what I want, I was going for it. Okay, going for it, even if I failed, at least I will not have regret. At least I will know whether that would have worked out or not, and then I can kind of move on from there. And I want you to think about that for your life. You know, for those of you who are resistant to think that far in the future, I want you to try. Play that scenario out for yourself. You know, run to the end of your, you know, life, you know, on your deathbed. What do you really want to happen? Who do you want to be around you? What do you want to say about your life? How do you want to look back on your life and say you would have done, or would have accomplished, would have felt, would have achieved? You know, and is it really your career? Right? I know a lot of us are career women, but on your deathbed, do you really want to say, my finest accomplishment, thing I'm most proud of, is I pursued a certain level of achievement in my career, right? And that's it. I know it's a tough question, but I want you to go there. I want you to plan ahead, think ahead, because it's coming. Okay, let's not deny that. Everybody's getting older. Like, that's one thing that is, the time is ticking, right? You cannot avoid death. You cannot avoid old age. So just plan a little bit ahead, and then really think about, am I really living the best life I want to live right now? You just think about that. I'll leave you with that thought. Okay, no, that's quite deep. So if you would like to check out my webinar presentation on the 3 secrets to get high quality men to chase you, pursue you, and get into that quality relationship with you, then you definitely want to check out that webinar. Go to katiecoach.com/webinar. And by the way, don't live with regret, okay? Do everything you can to live the best life you possibly can, because this is it. You only get one life, right? You only get one chance, one life. Make sure you do the best you've got. You know, you're giving it your best, and so you don't live with any regret, okay? And I'll talk to you real soon, ladies. Bye.